think we're good.
Awesome. I'll go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for joining us here today. We are at quorum, so I am calling the City of Akron Public Art Commission meeting into order. So we will move on to the agenda. And the first thing that we have on the agenda is to approve the minutes. I'm getting a weird feedback, Summer.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
It was a live stream.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. That always just throws me off when I hear myself talking. All right, so the first order of business is the approval of the minutes from the last meeting, which have been provided for before in advance. Are there any corrections? Feedback?
I noticed that Swirsky was spelled incorrectly in the minutes. There was an extra L.
Anything else? Cool. Dara, could you make that correction and then we can go ahead and vote on approving that minus that correction?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, motion to approve the minutes with the pending corrections.
I mean,
Thank you. All opposed, say aye. Or I'm sorry, all approved, say aye.
Aye.
All members opposed, say aye. All right, minutes are approved with the pending corrections. So we can move on to the next section of the agenda, which is the old business. Last time in April, we had approved the Rich Swirsky Memorial Park statue. Mark Greer came to visit us and we had a really great meeting with him. And then we talked about marketing ideas, which I drafted a press release just giving information about how to submit applications. That is in process. I have to go back and make some edits. So just so y'all know, that is in my court to take care of. So next order of business is applications. We've received Elizabeth Park Collaborative Art Project, which their representative isn't here today. So we'll move on to the Harvest Reimagine Fellowship, Akron Black Artists Guild. We have some of the artists, Mark Greer here again today, and Nicole Mullet here to talk about the project. Would y'all like to say anything in advance before we open it up to commission members to ask questions or provide feedback? Nicole, I would love to hear, or Mark Greer, from y'all about the update and the change of location, and from the artist, just a little bit more information about how y'all are collaborating on this together.
Thanks, Kat, and thanks everybody for having us, and a special shout out to both our artists and Mark Greer, who has spent so much time with me today. So Mark, I really appreciate you doing that and showing up again. We did this week our original plan for the space and the address that was shared with you. As sometimes happens when you're dealing with community work and public property, we determined this week that that wasn't going to be the highest purpose for that space and the best use. And so this morning, in an effort to be able to get information to you this afternoon in a really timely manner, Mark and the artists and our project manager from Akron Black Artists Guild, Flaco Torres, walked a different location and came up with an alternative plan for I'm saying it wrong, Mark. You're on mute. You have to unmute to save me.
Per park. Yeah.
Yes. So what might be helpful is if Mark shares a little bit about the reason we selected that was really because of the community engagement that is happening in that space. And it's offering up a lot more flexibility for both the artists as the work was envisioned, but also for community space, which was really the priority of the Black Artists Guild going into this. So I'll let Mark share a little bit about programming, and then I hope that we have time for our artists to speak because they're so passionate and talented about the work that they put before you today. And I'm excited for you to have the opportunity to hear from them. So Mr. Greer.
Thank you, Nicole. So yeah, just building on what Nicole stated, we were looking specifically at Kerr Park. As many of you may know, that Kerr Park is one of the Akron Parks Challenge winners last year. And so we completed a new playground project at the end of 2021, and we are currently working towards the entire park renovation, which will be happening later in the year. And so this is a true community space, lots of activation. We actually have a Maple Valley Community Festival that's going to be happening this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Outdoor movies in the park. And so we thought that Kerr Park would be a great and ideal place to have this really engaging art installation. Parks maintenance, of course, will maintain Kerr Park along with the art installation. And so again, just seems like the ideal place, and really happy to work with our artists and the Black Artists Guild, and of course, Nicole with Arts Now.
Pat, not to take up time, but I would love for the artists to be able to share a little bit about their vision for this piece. Their passion for the Copley Road corridor is pretty special, and they've been a joy to work with. So not to take up too much of the commission's time, but I know you guys are people who love artists, and I wanted to at least provide a little time to hear from them if possible. So.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love that. And just to also put in there, maybe you can include this while y'all talk. I am wondering if it's going to be a similar like freestanding structure as it was envisioned at the original location. But yes, turn it over to the artists if y'all want to talk more about that.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Stewart, and this is my daughter, Kyla Decatur, and we are P31 Art and Design. We were chosen for this project, and it has been quite a journey in itself. And this would be our first public works, public art work. And so this was super exciting for us. To answer your question, it is freestanding. All the other parameters, minus the container flower box, still is accurate and correct in the description. And we are just super excited to finally have our home for our piece. That's not my dining room table. And it sounds like Kerr Park is going to really just kind of bring the community together. It's already a meeting spot, as Mark had mentioned, where the festival is held. It's visible from Copley Road, and it sounds like with plans coming that it's really going to just bring together lots of other festivities in the area, which is much needed.
And what did were y'all just the artists? I'm wondering what Flaco Torres's his role in this, was it as project manager, and you both
We don't know, Kat. He just showed up.
I was wondering if it was a collaboration in the art.
So I'm not collaborating on the art. I stepped into the project manager role for our two big grant projects that the Guild started in January. So I've just been helping with the logistics of all the art, with the 3 fellows that we have for the Reimagine Fellowship, but as well as our nights Arts Challenge grant we got to do the partnership with Summit Metro Park. So I've been working with the Arts Now and the artists to just manage, facilitate whatever support that we can give. And Stephanie and Kyla have just been, like Nicole was saying, just a joy to work with. They've been super flexible through a lot of the changes that we've gone through, just trying to figure out what this idea would be, locations, different partners, and so on and so forth. So just really excited to get to this point and see their work there. I agree, the Kerr Park thing I think is really dope. I'm glad that we waited and we didn't just pick the first thing, because with the programming that's going to be happening there, with the investment that's going into that space, I do think, and I had Copley Wings for the first time today and they were fire, and it's right across the street. And I went over there and sat in the park and I ate, and I just kind of thought about it. I think it's going to be super fantastic to have that piece there to enhance the work that's already going into bringing the community together.
Thank you. And Nicole, you had offered to show some photos of the installation site. Do you mind doing? Thank you.
This isn't the installation site. I made them pose for a picture. So I apologize. And I apologize to those in the picture. Sorry, Stephanie, you look great. This is going to be the installation site in front of the tree. It's going to be where a lot of the activity happens around farmers market that Mark can speak to beautifully in terms of engagement. And then I'm going to show a shot, sorry again, but this is from further back. So if you look beyond where the trash can is, that second tree in the distance is going to be where the piece will be located in front of. And I will be happy to send these over. Kat, I have a couple more if they would be helpful, just to keep on file for the commission, whatever makes the most sense for your record keeping.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you. And then like Mark mentioned, the Parks Department is going to be taking care of the artwork site and any kind of maintenance needs that need to happen. Are there any questions, feedback from the rest of the commissioners?
I just had one quick question. Just out of curiosity, because I was reading the information on submittable, but just a little bit more explanation on the budget. Because I unless I'm not seeing something in our software, I didn't really see income, but I just saw the expense side of it, and I think it was referring to 3 artists, not 2 artists, or maybe I'm not reading the right piece.
No, so John, I put in the entire budget for Reimagine because it was one grant from Ohio Arts Council for $15,000. Arts Now contributed the remaining 8, I think, to cover project management and to add a little bit to the budget. So what the artists have done, I pulled out in different columns, if you can see the spreadsheet, or I can send it again separately. I know sometimes in Submittable, things like Excel don't translate very well, but I wanted you to see the full scope of the budget and then the piece that was related to this.
Okay, no, totally fine. Your explanation suffices. I just wanted to connect all the dots.
I can tell you artists are being paid, supplies are being paid for, and the original grant came from Ohio Arts Council, and they've been really pleased with all 3 of the projects that have been moving forward. This is the only one that we need to put before you as it's public art. So.
Yep.
Yeah, the spreadsheet did not come through. So yeah, I don't know. I'll have to talk to Alyssa regarding that.
That's okay. I love a spreadsheet. I'll send it separately just so you guys have it along with.
I'm good. I just
John, you don't want to see my spreadsheet?
Oh, I've got plenty of
spreadsheets.
You know how much I love spreadsheets.
This just shows you how much trust I have in your word.
Right. I'm still sending it again.
You have a phenomenal team that's working on this project that I know, and I'm just excited to see more art and, out there in the park and all that good stuff. And I'm glad that there's a maintenance plan for it, because that's something that I'm most concerned about. So.
Any other questions, feedback?
I have a good question. So the drawing, there were a couple photos that were submitted. One of them it was like a lady, looks like a tree, but looks like a lady with the sun. And then there was another picture of the actual like planter box and what the flowers would look like, and then the hand with like a plant growing out of it, which one will be your piece? Is it the painting with the tree that resembles a lady with the sun, or is it the picture of the planter box with the art piece sticking out of it?
So the piece itself is 8 feet by 4 feet, and it's the picture of, like, it's kind of like a little abstract play on a person, so personifying the tree as the lady, and then abstract of like water and land, so all the components are elements of the earth, and in the middle is the sun with hands, and then over a book, and then the quote reads, they tried to bury us but did not know that we were seeds. And then on the facing it on the right side is a plant and flowers and such.
Okay, thank you.
All right, if there's no other questions or feedback, I'd like to move to motion. Do I have a motion to approve the project?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All members in favor say aye.
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 All members opposed? All right, project has been approved. Thank you all so much for taking the time to be with us today and answering our questions. Looking forward to seeing this project in real life.
Thank you so much for your time, everyone.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I think everyone's off.
I have Nancy Holland here with
Yes.
Council, Akron City Council from Ward 1.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining today, Nancy. I know that we got to meet briefly a couple of months ago, but very excited to have you here again. Really what our intention is to start to really build the bridge between the Public Art Commission and the city, wards and council members, just to get a better relationship going so that y'all know what we're up to, we know what you're up to, and so forth. And especially when it comes to public art applications and when there's new public going on, just making sure that y'all are aware of what the process is. And so, yeah, it's a very similar process to what you just witnessed. Typically, artists will submit, or a project manager will submit through an application through Submittable, which everyone can find online through the Public Art Commission's website. We get that in advance of the installation. We ask for it to be sent to us 3 weeks in advance of our next commission meeting, just so then we have time to review it, ask you any questions and whatnot. And then we'll invite the person to attend this meeting, talk it through, and either approve it or not. So any kind of projects that are going on in any of the wards, I think really what we're looking for is someone to be our advocate on the outside as well. In any ways that we can also connect in the future, whether that's us attending any council meetings or having more of a larger group, other council members attending these meetings, whatnot.
Thank you. Wow, so many thoughts, and thank you so much for having me today. It's good to be back. Last time I was here, it was a simultaneously joyful but somber mission, and that was to obtain the approval for the beautiful, beautiful installation at what we will now know as Rich Swirsky Park. And you have my deepest gratitude and appreciation for having given that, I know it was escalated attention, and I feel I can speak for our Ward 1 community, for the city, and certainly for the Swirsky family, that you were so gracious in doing that. And I think that the outcome is just an inarguable success. It's beautiful. It's fitting for the space, and certainly for the community that that Rich fostered and served and created. I want everyone to know that the public art is very, very important to me on a personal level, and also in my capacity as a public servant. I was for a number of years, I was part of the faculty in the graduate school. I was a senior lecturer in the arts administration program. I was the, forgive the expression, I was part of the non-sexy curriculum. I taught the legal aspects of arts administration, but I have been a fan and a supporter of our arts community my whole life, my whole time here in Akron. And I really believe that as we face some of the most formidable challenges of my lifetime, and I think of Akron's history, and I'm going to get real specific here, guys, and forgive me, this part isn't sexy either, and it's not beautiful, but it's real. We are facing unprecedented issues in terms of specifically youth violence, and a deep and desperate need to heal our community, and to return to a very real and very grassroots kind of linking of arms and coming together as the big small town that I think we should proudly claim. And I think one of the ways that we do this is through the glorious placemaking that is public art. Some of you are aware that during the dark and boring times when we had all meetings of all kinds on Zoom, I had my ward meetings on Zoom, and we actually welcomed the Art Bomb Brigade goddesses to talk to us about mural art. And I still think that there is plenty of space for that in Ward 1 and around, but I'm also super excited to hear just now the presentation about the installation just described. And I have some real ideas for some things that could happen in Ward 1. And what's really on my mind right now, and maybe on some of yours too, is what just happened just last week. And it just corresponds with a section of what West Market Street, which I know Mr. Greer can probably back me up on this. This is a segment of West Market Street that needs some positive attention and some positive energy, and has some very logical places that I think could really benefit from some placemaking. Also, Ward 1 actually did the crucial first 3 action items that allowed us to become part of the National Wildlife Federation's Monarch Pledge. We are now officially part of that. We are on the NWF map as a place that is committed to supporting and advancing the care and feeding, literally, of pollinators. I got some ideas, and I know that you artists are already, I can feel the wheels turning even as I say this. I see butterflies on Market Street. This is, location wise, we're talking about the area between Rhodes East to Maple Street. This is a frequently traveled area. This is an area that frankly is frequently on my map for social issues. And I'm raising my hand. And I know I just ate up more time than you intended to give me and than I intended to take, but thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you, Nancy. Part of our last meeting back in April or March, Mark Greer did stop by and talk to us about possible places where we could place artwork. And we really got to the point where we have recognized the importance of a public art inventory to then be able to really inform what art we're putting out there in the future that would be commissioned by the Public Art Commission. Otherwise, any other kind of projects would just go through that application process as long as y'all have funding, since we aren't in a funding cycle right now. But hearing those kind of stories about where you see that public art is needed is very helpful. And I think it would be really great to also get that information from other council members, especially as we start to think about where we would like to place public art and really do our first public art project, so that we're informed about where it's needed most, and to get some of that information that we don't necessarily have that the council members have.
And I am here for you as a resource and a helper. You can call on me in my official and unofficial capacities, whatever you need. I think it's really important too that that my colleagues on council, and certainly the rest of the operations of the city of Akron, understand what you guys do.
Yes.
And understand the role of public art, not just in something that we look at and say, that's beautiful, but how this actually elevates our experience of life, that this can actually change energy and change the dynamic of neighborhoods and streets and whole groups of people.
Absolutely. Did any of the other commission members want to say anything or ask questions?
I'm gonna put a plug in, Kat, if I may.
Absolutely.
Every Monday evening city council meeting has something called public comment. And the sign up for this could not be simpler. If anybody from your organization wishes to sign up for a 3-minute little PSA, all you need do is contact the clerk of council, and her email address, which I'll put in the chat, is sbiviano@akronohio.gov, sbiviano@akronohio.gov. You'll then have 3 minutes at the conclusion of council business with which you can do as you will. And I think it would be time well spent. Pop in from time to time, talk about the work of the commission, talk about the role of public art, talk about the amazing group of people that are serving on your commission and the artists you've featured. I think it would be really valuable. You can do so via Zoom, or you can come down in person, whatever your pleasure. And the meetings are all live streamed, so you'd be reaching not just the people in that room, but all over the place, people who tune in to watch the meetings.
Awesome. Thank you, Nancy. I would love to do that. So I will definitely reach out to give my 3-minute PSA.
Nancy, I had a quick question. Well, I know what you just said would be another good outlet to reach council. But, we really want, all of council to be involved and to give us, different places where they feel art could be displayed. Do you know of any other outlets that, we could go about to actually, sit down and talk to council versus the PSA? I mean, the PSA is great. And I know the commission is working on a press release to reintroduce ourselves, so that can go out into the community in the newspaper and, wherever else the media would like to take it. But what other steps can you think of for us to have council more involved?
I think that it would be delightful to have the commission come and provide an informational presentation in a council committee session. And I'm literally, if I appear to have a faraway look on my face, I'm kind of brainstorming here, which committee does this logically fall into? I don't think
it's more of OID.
Yeah, I think maybe planning and the planning committee.
Okay.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
And Jeff Fusco is the chair of that committee. I work very closely with Jeff in a lot of things. He is what we consider council leadership. I think that contacting at-large Councilman Fusco and Council President Somerville and copying me and indicating that I suggested this, I think you guys should come in and do a presentation at a planning committee meeting. The committee, city council has committee meetings on Monday afternoons, and it's kind of an open secret, if you will, that the real work and debate and conversation happens in these Monday afternoon meetings. The formal evening meetings that happen 7 p.m. every Monday night are really, kind of truncated. They're shorter. There's not a lot of meat on the bones. We pass legislation, but don't discuss much. The committee meetings, though, are really illuminating, and I think that would be a great place, don't you think?
Definitely. And they're Monday at 1:00.
Yep.
So, okay.
Yep.
Thank you
I
for
think
that.
that would be a great thing. I would love that. Y'all come.
Awesome. Great ideas. Thank you so much, Nancy and Summer, for starting that idea. I would love to also do that. So I'll work with Summer to get a schedule going around attending one of those Monday meetings at 1. Thank you for also putting that in there in the chat.
You're welcome.
All right, I think if no one else has any other questions or feedback to Nancy, we can move on in the agenda.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes, thank you, Nancy. Have a good one. All right. So commissioners, as far as I know, everyone, me, John, Dara, Danica, Lauren, will be continuing to serve on the commission, and we should have some new commission members at our next meeting for us to vote on.
I expressed interest in continuing a few months back.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, Kate. I totally just, what I was going through my Zoom blocks and I totally missed you. I'm sorry about that.
That's fine. I just wanted it to be known. That's all. Thanks.
Cool. Thank you. We'll have 2 other commissioners to hopefully vote on at our next meeting in July. And we will have to vote on some new roles, the vice chair role, which has been open for a little bit, and then also for a secretary too. So we'll plan to vote on those roles in August, and hopefully maybe some of our new commission members would be interested in also taking on some of those roles. So it'd be great to have them join in July so we can give them a heads up about that. Next on our agenda, we have the work plan. So I will just talk briefly about this, and then I can share my screen and whatnot. But I put together just a work plan and outline of what we have done so far this year and what we could possibly do in the future. And this is something that really we should start even earlier, probably our next work plan. It would be great to start that process for next year at the end of this year. So I will definitely include it on our future agendas for us to start working on that and finalizing what our plan is. And I think that will definitely inform what the budget is as well. And so part of that process, we've talked a lot about this public art inventory process, public art projects. We did set aside $25,000, and most of it is towards public art, but then some of it was for conservation, maintenance type needs too, which could be known as public art inventory. So just wanted to kind of set that up, just about what I'm thinking about and what our plans are for the future when we meet for commission meetings. I can share my screen so y'all can take a look at what I drafted, and we can talk that through if this kind of is feeling too much, what we need to take off or whatnot. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. And just to give you some additional information, I know that Jill had talked about us possibly doing a more in-depth public art inventory opportunity, which would be kind of a volunteer process as far as I remember. Jill, I don't know if you want to talk about what you envision that to be, but also Mac Love had reached out to John Fumey first and then did a follow-up email to Summer, John, and I about some other projects, including their public art inventory process. So that is something that we could also look to if that would be of interest to everyone. But I'll go ahead and share my screen and we can talk this through. All right, so y'all see the 2022 APAC work plan? All right. So just looking back at some of the things we did, the budget, drafting that and finalizing it, drafting the work plan for this year and hopefully finalizing that maybe at our July meeting if we don't get to it today. But otherwise, we have some other things like the press release about the public art application process and finalizing that, which that should be done by the end of this month, hopefully, and we'll go out either the end of this month or first thing in July. And then I have some other ideas about what else we could do in regards to the rest of our year. So a public art inventory process. If we want to move forward with the traffic signal boxes, the reason I put this out there, we had talked about this at a couple of our meetings, and the mayor is going to be doing his own project and focusing on downtown Akron. But if we wanted to do our own traffic signal boxes project plan, then we could focus on other neighborhoods. Finalizing the work plan in August, we'll have some new commissioners and roles that we'll need to vote on, continue the public art inventory process. In September, drafting a budget for the city's approval and review, start working on that public work plan. And then later in the year, having some sort of public information campaign. What is public art in the city and what does it mean to you? And hopefully deploying that at the end of the year. So we had talked about some marketing ideas, and that was something that I pulled from some of our conversations about really engaging the community and hopefully doing something every kind of 6 months where we do a press release or some kind of marketing tool. Would be nice just so that we can keep ourselves out there, that the community knows that we're doing these things, that we're here, and just keeping us top of mind with the community. So I think it would be great to continue doing any kind of marketing, community engagement, and I'm happy to attend any council committee meetings and do the 3-minute PSA so that we are included more so in the council's minds as well. So I just dropped a lot of information, but I also wanted to provide some space if anyone has any feedback or any thoughts about the work plan in general, or any of the other things I brought up in this process as well, the public art inventory or the traffic signal boxes. If you have any comments or questions or want to talk that through more.
I think I'd like to see the public information campaign a little bit earlier than November. I just feel like that time of year is really crazy. So And then I'd also like to see it be sort of a community engagement type of activity, which I'm happy to help figure out what that looks like and deploy it. But maybe it could start like in September even.
That sounds good to me. Does anyone else have any feedback? Anything that's missing from the work plan that we should take into consideration? Summer, yeah.
I was just trying to wait for the other commissioners. A few things with the public arts engagement, just to let you guys know, if you wanted to do something at Lock 3, to do something, you know, for the community to attend, Lock 3 will be shutting down, like the front part of it, in September. So mid-September for the Akron Civic Commons to kind of revitalize Lock 3. There will be some other places along Lock 3 that we could use, but if you wanted to do something and maybe bring the community to take part, and if you want to use Lock 3, it would have to be done by September. But there's other also spaces downtown that we can use.
So I would like to make sure we really vet out that conversation, Summer.
Mhm.
Just because I know curated storefronts is part of that whole process. And I'd really like to make sure that our dollars are going toward areas, you know, where maybe no dollars potentially exist.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
I know we're not in the trenches now, but just something else to consider there.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was actually thinking more of a virtual engagement even. I mean, we can definitely talk more about this in the future since we still have a couple months to kind of flesh that out. But even like if we did another press release and then some kind of Google form survey to get people's thoughts about what public art is, if they want to send pictures or whatnot, of areas where they think public art should be. That's what I was thinking. But if we wanted to do kind of like an informational session engagement, I think that could work too.
That sounds like a great idea.
I would like to see maybe like going to events that are already happening, you know, whether that's like a ward meeting that we share or even like a festival, like they were saying in the Maple Valley Festival. Like, I think it'd be really effective if we went to events or places where there was already like a built-in audience to share, as opposed, I mean, we could do like a public info session, just us, but I always think that like community engagement on the ground at like these events that community already is going to, it would be more effective. In addition, of course, to the digital opportunity.
Also, heads up, as part of my role as Artist Now, we're creating programming. So in September, we're doing a placemaking workshop that will involve Kenmore and the things that they're doing as far as placemaking. And the focus will be and talk about placemaking within the neighborhood, how to activate the space. So I thought just in planning that will be something great for the commission to come in as far as just sitting in on the conversation. And this is with Joel Ratner and also Tina Boyce pushing this forward, but just to get like that on the ground in the community and how different communities are activating their spaces. So I thought it would be good for us to go just as camaraderie as a group to go and attend. But I am very much in line with Katie with going to functions that the audiences is already built in for people to understand and know what's going on and what is placemaking, who do you talk to, or how can you activate your space type conversations in that. So I think that would be very effective. And plus virtually is great, but people are now kind of moving away from a lot of digital presentations, or trying to, perhaps. So
And I also think, with the summer coming, well, almost summer, um, we can go down to events, and I know, Katie, you had said like a booth, just as something to start off with, have a booth, maybe show some of the stuff. I have a binder of everything that we've approved, the art pieces and things like that, and just let people know who you are, and they can ask those questions at, our festivals and other large events that we have in the city. And I can provide you guys with what events are coming about.
Yeah, I think that would be great if we could get a list going of different festivals or large events that we could possibly attend and do those informational booths would be really helpful.
And not to be a Debbie Downer, but I would like to circle back around to really having this conversation about this public art inventory, to kind of really press and really get, that is the first project really. Now we know we have started scratch with, versus, people coming in, applying the application, let's have public art, they're doing that and we saying yes. But really with this inventory and stuff, to really know what we're going to do even before work plan and things like that. I know this has been on our list for a while. And then knowing we're not sure, even with some of the information Jill shared, and then the whole notion of Mac Love, I just want to kind of really put some nails in that, to kind of put some legs up under us.
So Dare, are you saying you're for it?
Now with Mac Love, it seems, and I'm just saying, it seems like it's organized, it's together. It's not the most biggest lift possible that we can really go forward in that. But then also with Jill, I wanted to still make room for that conversation if we are having that conversation. But I just want to solidify, like, what are we doing when it comes to this inventory, especially if we got money allotted for that? What are we going to do with that? Because that can all be in play once the end of our real year is August. So once that even comes around, we already established inventory or walking in it already, and we can say those things to those outward facing events that we're talking about, like what's already been done.
Yeah, I guess I agree. I thought, especially, I mean, disregard Mac Love, when we went through this last year with the intern, I don't know why I was under the impression that we were like going to gain some knowledge, which we did, regarding where public art currently is. And one of the biggest challenges of public art is the preservation of it. And or do we have, is there some public art out there that frankly might need to be removed, and are there dollars associated with that? So sort of like, cleaning up our garden or something before we start to maybe take on another major project or something of that sort. But I think I looked at Kat's leadership here to determine what those priorities need to be. And the Mac Love is just another, tool that I ended up stumbling upon on a different conversation with him, that I thought, oh, this could really streamline this whole process for us, so that we have accurate information and all of that. But, so I get what you're saying there. So.
Well, I meet with Mac Love tomorrow to kind of go over a lot of different things that was in his email, as well as he has like 16 other pieces that he will be wanting to put up in different locations. So we'll have a conversation about that also. But my thought was, with the intern, the work that she collected, the information that she collected, I thought that the commission was going to kind of go through all of that and look at the pieces and see what needs to be, updated, what may need to be removed, what needs to be, kept, what looks good, what doesn't. So we still have all of her work that she proposed, and I'm still waiting to hear back to get a new intern to do that. But for the time being, we do have a small collection already started. What are our plans on with looking at the collection that we already have?
I think that it was a really great start. And we could possibly go back through that and identify different public art that she listed as needing attention. I did reach out to Blind Eye Restoration a couple months ago, and the communication has been kind of on and off. And just to get a quote about some of the pieces that were identified through the interns process last summer. And my only concern is that I appreciate what the intern did last year, but I do think that we need something that's more comprehensive and like an actual conservator has given their thorough opinion of what their recommendations are. I'm not a conservator. I do work in public art, or I have before, but I really think it's important that we have someone who's an expert in that area really come up with their opinion of what is in dire need of some maintenance if we want to go that route. But I do think that even before that, we need to really do more of an in-depth look at all of the public art and get an expert's opinion about the maintenance requirements around what that public art is.
That sounds like a lot of money. Okay.
So regarding the inventory, maybe what we could do, and I had two ideas with this, but it's kind of like the same thing, but we can get behind the camera and actually just be out there. Like sorry, I just woke her up. Like if we look through the inventory and select a section, like select a piece of property, like just actually go out there and kind of observe it for ourselves too, because pictures can say a lot of things. I mean, we see a picture and we look at it, but when you see it in person, we might have a different perspective about that. So perhaps we could just be out there in the ground and just kind of take a look at it. Like if we choose something and then let's say, hey, let's just go out there and look at it, whether we go as a group or individually in our own time, but for us to check whatever we decide, whatever piece of inventory we decide to check out, just we can go ahead and do that and kind of observe it for ourselves. And the other idea that I had too was when we decide on something that we approve, let's say we approve this project that they just discussed, like I wouldn't mind going out there when it first starts, and then when it's completed, some representatives of the commission go out there once it's completed, because I think it's important to have our face out there like, hey, this here was because of us and what we did from start to finish. So I think it's nice to have that public art presence out there.
I think that's a great idea. I mean, I love the idea of us even getting to a point where we document, have part of our budget be for photography, like professional photography of the public art that we approve of, just so then, that's documentation for the future, but then also for marketing purposes, when we do want to showcase what's being done and whatnot, that we have the ability to do that. I guess my main thing about the public art inventory is I just want to make sure that we're approaching this from a capacity standpoint where we're, as the commission, we're making recommendations of how to move forward, but it's not going to be just solely relied on us to provide any of the services or do any of this kind of deeper work that does need to happen. Just make sure that in the future that other commissioners can take on this work, and we're being equitable about that. So that's just my main concern when it comes to the public art inventory. How is everyone feeling about Mac's public art inventory proposal? Is this something that we're thinking we would want to move forward with, or do we want to hear more information after Summer has a meeting with him tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we need to hear more information. I mean, I didn't have a deep dive with him. I just looked at the tool, because it related to some other projects that he had done with the night purchase price and all of that. So I think this commission needs to hear it and understand it and see if it gets us to that end point. So if that starts with a conversation with him in Summer tomorrow and have her do a follow-up, or he comes here or what have you, I think is my suggestion.
I'll definitely do a follow-up, but also I would, encourage him to maybe join one of our commission meetings.
Yeah, it'd be nice
to speak for himself. What'd you say, Katie?
I was just saying, I think it'd be nice to speak with him at our next meeting.
Yeah, our meeting in July. Okay.
I agree. I'm just looking at this timeline because August is like around the corner. It's over. So trying to push as much as possible before that August, September. So even to have that conversation with Mac, then to finalize the work plan, I think is two major things that we can get going, especially inviting new commissioners. That work plan going forward, we know what we have to stump out coming around to the following or 2023.
Yeah.
Okay.
And is looking at the work plan, is this traffic signal boxes something that we want to take off until we have this public art inventory process? The reason why I keep on pushing for it is just because I feel like this is something that other cities do. We do have that $25,000, a portion of that going to public art. And that this could be something that we employ in all of the neighborhoods instead of just focusing on one or the other. But yeah,
For the first round, Horrigan the administration is paying for, not out of our fund, right?
Right.
For
So
the
what you wanted to do?
Akron.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kat.
No, you go ahead. You probably have more
So
information.
he's looking more at doing some traffic signal boxes on Main Street. So just gathering his ideas and thoughts. I have a few, thoughts and things like that for him that I need to speak with him regarding. So Main Street would be something that the mayor has a vision for.
But we would manage the project for him. Is that the idea?
That I don't know.
Because to me, I think that's a good testing ground, and we can do the whole process of soliciting local artists and all that kind of stuff. And then, the greatest thing is that's coming out of coming off of our budget.
Mhm.
And then the press release, all the PR from it, we can have credit for it as well. That's going to, help to build the notoriety of the Public Art Commission. And then just through our own using this experience, then we can then as a commission decide where is the next place for us to roll
I've heard
out.
different thoughts of his from other people, not directly from him, of what his vision would be. And some things would be like old Akron. What did old Akron look like? So I have a lot of photos, old black and white photos of what old Main Street looked like. So I'll just have to meet with him and, get more of his vision, and then I'll get back with you guys.
Wouldn't we still review the ideas?
Yeah, because it's going on public spaces. So yes. But what is his vision as far as what he would like to see down there? Is it old photos? Is it a call for artists to do old, to do work on the traffic signal boxes? So I just need a clear understanding of what is needed. and what he wants to have done.
I don't think it's a no for the traffic boxes. I just think maybe push it down a bit to try to just finish the inventory, finalize the work plan. When we bring on the new commissioners, then we'll start, because August is actually our end time as far as people coming off or coming in. Then to go forward, like to start working on the call for art, everything that we're trying to do is even with that, those boxes, to just kind of push it down until we get the commissioners on, till we know and finalize that the inventory, which we talked about in other meetings of finalizing the inventory. Then, okay, we're trying to find artists to do these signal boxes. Because it is a nice idea, because we also talked about in previous meetings about having stuff more so in the neighborhood and not to focus on Main Street, because we knew the mayor was doing more so Main Street downtown, and we wanted to see more stuff in the neighborhood. So even with the inventory list, that kind of can inform us in our other meetings, like where is good spaces to do these boxes and pinpoint, nail it down. Okay, say we want to do 2 in the block of, and then 2 in another block in that side of town, like kind of map it out to maybe put these, and then know how many we're going to do, how many artists we're going to call, what we're paying these artists and things like that.
Now, I will tell you, Arlington is our newest great street, and that will be taken off soon. So Arlington Road would be a nice place maybe to start, where everything can just go, the new great streets, whatever work they're doing, and then public arts. So that's just a thought for you guys.
Yeah, and I think we could think about it in various ways about where we are focusing, or what traffic boxes we focus on. Summer had sent me a listing, which I'll probably have to ask you again for Summer, since I've changed emails. But I know a couple months ago, well, back at the beginning of the year, council had approved, I think it was 3 locations for there to be rapid tests to be passed out at. And they had chosen those 3 places based on the low numbers of vaccination. So even just thinking about like what traffic boxes have the most traffic going by them. And that could be maybe car, vehicle, or even just walker bys. So I don't know if you have that kind of information, Summer, but that could also be very helpful in helping us make our decision.
I'll work on that. What location?
Hey, unfortunately, I need to depart. So good to see everyone. I've got to get to a 5:30. Kat, let me know if there's anything else I can help with in Summer. Same. So, all right. Thank you.
Really quick, I want to let you know that I know we had talked about Von Shea doing another training.
Yes.
I spoke with her, and she's looking at more so maybe August. That will be the 2 years of the commission. So with new members being on, maybe she can do a training of the Roberts rules and maybe some other things. So if you guys have things in mind that you would like to learn more about, please let me know, and I can try to get a training session going in August during one of our meetings. There wouldn't be anything additional. It would just be during this time to do a training. And then also third quarter should be coming up soon with Triad, with rebranding the Public Arts Commission. So that would be like a logo, that would be whatever it is that you all have thoughts about. So start thinking about that. So when the time comes, we can present them with your thoughts, and then they can try to work around it and figure out how they can compile and collaborate their thoughts and your thoughts. Oh, and then also as far as the stipends that will come out this month, we only have one person at this time that's doing contracts, so please bear with me. Lauren, you're the only one that I need to get that W-9 from. So if you can get that to me sooner than later, that would be great.
Yep, I'll send it to you. Sorry, Summer.
That's okay. And that's all that I have.
All right. That sounds good. We can continue to look at this work plan and have Mac hopefully join us for the next Public Art Commission so that we can talk more about the public art inventory. Jill had dropped in the chat that Downtown Akron Partnership and UA would be happy to provide a list. So I'm happy to reach out to those people. And then next meeting, we'll make sure to hopefully have some new commission members, continue to talk about the work plan and start to develop those other things.
And I will have that correction at the
yes.
end of the night. Like, just give me a second.
Swirsky's name? Okay.
I have a question before we close. Is there any way to follow up with the Elizabeth Park folks about giving more information? I felt like the application was really sparse and there's no info on the artists or even the design. So I'm wondering, like, can we kind of nudge them about sending some more info before the next meeting?
Can you send me an email of the questions that you have regarding it?
Yeah, I can.
And then I can reach out to them.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Also, take a look at our website, our Akron Public Arts website. Take a look at it and see if there's any ideas that you have regarding the website, any updates, anything new, something that might be removed, things that we need to add. Take a look at that and just, let me know your thoughts.
Summer, when is the third quarter? Like, what is that date that we need to be working up towards for Triad?
Pardon the noise behind me. I'm not exactly sure when the third quarter is. I'm thinking probably more so August.
Okay.
I'll reach back out to them.
Yeah.
But usually third quarter is like, September, October, but I would like to just be prepared in August to be able to give them some feedback. Or not feedback, but give them some ideas that the commission has.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. There are no public comments at this time, so we will move on to adjourning the meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All members opposed? All right, meeting is adjourned. We will meet next on Wednesday, July 13th at 4 p.m. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.